Okay, we're back with another how to draw video. I've had a lot of requests to draw the whole human body instead of just the face or the head or whatever. So I'm going to jump in and start doing a kind of stick figure showing the basic thing that I want to draw here today. I had the idea of showing a guy doing a good karate kick, you know, so that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And I think I'm going to spend, even though it might be boring, a lot of this video on this stick figure sort of preparatory stuff, because this is, you know, this is the basis of your drawing. Everything else is going to grow out of that, and if you're not getting this right, then you're in trouble. Now, before I say anything else, I want to stress to you the importance of using reference. Go to Google Image, see if you can find a photo of somebody doing the thing that you're trying to draw, and then that'll ensure that you end up with something much more accurate. Like I did that. I wanted to draw somebody doing a kick like this, and so I went onto Google, and I found the picture, and I pretty much just did a copy of it to familiarize myself with how this would look. Now you can see I've got the sort of basic lines of a stick figure in place. Well, I'm already starting to indicate a little bit of the clothing, where the clothing's going to go. The main thing is getting the proportions right, and you know, that's something that you just sort of pick up on over time. Basically, the legs are going to have to be the longest part, obviously, of the human body. I'd say that the distance from here to the end of the foot is like twice the distance from here to the shoulders. I don't know if that's precisely perfect, but it's a good rule of thumb that if you're making it 2 or 3 times, then obviously it's way too long. In any case, let me go ahead and start indicating the feet here. The problem with trying to teach drawing the human body on a YouTube video is that, you know, it could take years to learn how to draw the human body, and you really can't teach very much in 10 minutes. So consider this video number 1, just sort of the basic intro video, and I'll make a whole series of videos about drawing the human body, and hopefully by watching a bunch of them you will start to accumulate some information. In any case, notice how the lines are very loose and just kind of straight lines. This is the kind of stuff that I'm doing as I'm zeroing in to try to find where the final lines are going to go. It looks very messy, and maybe a lot of people who don't like to do this kind of stuff at the beginning, because it just doesn't look like it's quality drawing. But for me, I find that I've got to start off by doing things fairly loose at the outset. So now that I've got the basic feeling of where everything's going to go, I can maybe start to zoom in on certain things and show you some greater details of like drawing the hand and so forth. But again, because these things are so time-consuming, I think what I'm going to do is do the actual drawing stuff in time-lapse, and then just talk a little bit about what I did to give you some tips in following along later on. So let's stop, and I'll do a little bit of time-lapse drawing of the hand. Okay, so just a few pointers on how I did this. Notice how I drew first the kind of palm area, and then I gave some guidelines in making a sort of boxy shape here to show where the fingers would go. All of the fingers in a clenched fist, the knuckle area, they're all almost exactly the same size, so you can draw each one of these lines the same length. Notice that as these lines curve back around, they don't quite reach the end. You have the sort of outline that goes like this, but you don't have these lines connecting with that outline. I think that helps to convey the clenched fist look. So much of this is just trial and error, what looks right, and again, using reference, you know. Let me move on to one of the feet, and I'll again do it in time-lapse and then come back to talk about how I did it. Alright, so you can kind of see that there is at the bottom of the foot in this pose a kind of a hint of a triangular shape here. Remember that the heel is not just coming straight down, it's coming back off of the base of the leg. It seems to me that there are kind of two lines that are bringing you down towards the toes here. And on the bottom, of course, there's that sort of indentation next to the heel, quite close to the heel, and then you have a longer line here that comes up, another indentation as we get near to the big toe. And then make sure you're also getting these knuckles indicated here at the end. You know, probably far from perfect. In fact, I don't feel like I'm the best person to be teaching drawing the human body because I make a lot of mistakes, but in any case, people wanted me to offer some tips, so here I am. Indicating this little sort of ball of the ankle, it might not even be something that you would actually see in real life, but it really helps to convey the feeling of looking at a human foot. Let's move on to maybe one more foot. Alright, well this is definitely something that I never would have been able to draw without reference. The foot is kind of coming straight out at us. It's very helpful to get the big toe first, and then they sort of indicate the other toes as a sort of row of boxes almost. You can get away with drawing them that way. It's interesting the way this shows just a little touch of the bottom of the foot. And then the rest of it has very much a triangular shape. Again, I've indicated a little bit of the this ball of the ankle. Whether you would necessarily see it or not, I think people kind of want to see that to foot. In any case, because drawing the human body is so time-consuming, I don't think I'm really going to be able to spend too much more time except for just finishing this drawing off with time-lapse. And so let's do that, and maybe I'll squeeze in one final word at the end. Okay, folks, well, there you have it. I'm sorry this really doesn't contain that much. I think realistically to teach the human body, I'm going to need to do a whole series of videos. And hopefully this one taught you a little bit about getting started on an action pose like this. I mean, really the key is reference, you know? Find a photo of someone doing the thing that you're trying to draw your character doing. And then, you know, everything will flow out of there. And the more you do that, the more you start to kind of memorize where things go so that you can begin to draw a little bit of it from memory. But it's always best at the beginning, and even when you're more advanced, to use reference, photo reference, if you can find it. Anyway, we're pretty much out of time for today, but thanks for watching the vids, and I'll be back with another one real soon. Take care, my friends.